Sometimes the person you want most in this world is the very thing standing between you and your peace. My friends, that one hits hard, doesn't it? Because deep down, you know it's true. We spend nights staring at our phones, hoping a message will appear, praying the universe will bend just a little, so they'll come back. You tell yourself maybe they'll realize what they lost, maybe they'll wake up one day and see your worth. But here's the truth, most people won't say out loud, they might never come back. And that's not the end of your story, that's the beginning of your strength. Hey folks, imagine this. You're standing in front of a closed door. You've knocked 100 times. You've waited outside in the rain, shivering, convinced that if you just stay a little longer, maybe, just maybe, it'll open again. But the truth? That door was locked for a reason. Some doors don't close to punish you, they close to protect you. And if you keep standing there begging for entry, you'll miss the 1,000 other doors life is quietly trying to open for you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." It sounds poetic until you're the one bleeding over the ending. But the Stoics knew suffering doesn't come from what happens, it comes from our resistance to it. You keep fighting reality, hoping your willpower can bend someone's feelings back toward you. But you can't outthink someone's disinterest. You can't logic your way into being loved again. My friends, listen carefully. Love isn't something you chase. It's something you grow into. And when someone doesn't want you back, that's not proof you weren't enough. It's proof that their path was never meant to walk beside yours forever. Some people are lessons disguised as lovers. They enter your life not to stay, but to shake you awake. To remind you that your peace was never meant to depend on anyone's presence or absence. Think about it this way. Imagine carrying a burning coal in your bare hand, hoping the heat will turn into warmth. You hold on tighter, thinking if you just endure it a little longer, it'll stop hurting. But the longer you hold on, the more it scars you. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the moment you realize you deserve to walk through life with open hands, not clenched fists. We've all been there, replaying what we said wrong, wondering if they're thinking of us, stalking their socials just to feel close again. But you don't heal by reopening wounds. You heal by letting the air in. You heal by accepting that what's gone was never truly yours, because what's meant for you will recognize you without force. Epictetus said, "Don't wish for things to happen as you want them to. Wish for them to happen as they do, and you'll be at peace." That's not apathy, that's emotional mastery. That's what true strength looks like, when your calm is no longer dependent on someone's attention, affection, or apology. So, my friends, stay with me, because today we're going to talk about how to get over someone who doesn't want you back, not by numbing the pain, not by pretending you don't care, but by understanding your worth so deeply that their rejection becomes your redirection. This isn't just about letting go of a person, it's about letting go of the illusion that love has to hurt to be real. You're not losing them, you're rediscovering you. And before we dive deeper, write this in the comments as your affirmation: I choose peace. Say it proudly, say it for yourself. Say it for every version of you that waited too long at closed doors. Number 1, stop begging for a door that's already closed. The truth doesn't hurt because it's cruel. It hurts because it ends the illusion. My friends, let's be honest, we all want to believe we can change their mind, that one day they'll wake up, miss your voice, and realize they walked away from something rare. But the hardest pill to swallow is this: you can't convince someone to want you. Not with words, not with loyalty, not with the memories you built together. You could pour your soul out in front of them, and they'd still look at you with eyes that used to see magic but now only see history. That's not your failure, that's reality calling you home. Imagine this. You're standing outside a house that used to be yours. You still have the key, but when you try to open the door, it won't fit anymore. You jiggle it, push harder, maybe even knock, hoping they'll open from the inside. But the locks have been changed. The lights are on, but they're not for you. And yet you stand there, drenched in rain, whispering to yourself, maybe if I wait just a little longer. But waiting outside a door that's already been closed isn't devotion. It's self-abandonment. I know what's going through your mind. But what if they realize what they lost? What if I just need to prove my worth? What if they still love me but are just scared? That's how the mind keeps you trapped. It feeds you what-ifs instead of what is. The Stoics would say, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and that's exactly what's happening here. You're not suffering from their rejection anymore. You're suffering from the story you keep replaying about how it should have been. You're not weak for wanting them. You're human. But at some point, you've got to stop romanticizing potential and start respecting reality. Because every time you reach out to someone who's already turned their back, you're teaching your nervous system that your peace depends on their attention. And my friends, that's the biggest lie of all. Your peace was never meant to be held hostage by someone else's choices. Think about this. If you were holding a glass filled with broken pieces, would you grip it tighter, hoping it would turn back into what it once was? No. Because the tighter you hold, the deeper the cuts. That's what it's like trying to force connection where there's only detachment. You're holding pain pretending it's love, bleeding from something you should have already let fall to the floor. The fear of letting go comes from the illusion that there's nothing better ahead. You've convinced yourself that this person is the only one who could make you feel that alive again. But what if I told you that what you're really missing isn't them, it's you, the version of you who felt alive, desired, hopeful. The energy they awakened wasn't created by them, it was awakened through you. That energy is still yours. You just forgot how powerful it is when it's not chasing something that doesn't want to be caught. It's difficult, I know, because you believe the connection was real. You saw glimpses of something divine in them, and maybe it was. But just because something was real doesn't mean it's meant to last. Some people appear in your story not to stay, but to redirect your path back to yourself. They were a chapter, not the whole book. Yet you're standing at the end of that chapter, rereading the same page, hoping the words will change. But they won't. They're printed in ink, not in possibility. You see, my friends, love doesn't beg, it invites. It doesn't chase validation, it radiates value. And the moment you stop knocking on the wrong door, you'll start hearing the silence whisper something profound. You deserve peace, not permission. You don't need them to come back to feel complete. You need to come back to yourself. There's a quote from Epictetus that I want you to remember. When someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. You've given too much of your emotional power to someone who didn't know what to do with it. You became a gardener, tending to a soil that had already gone dry. Now it's time to plant somewhere else, in yourself. But I get it. Walking away doesn't mean you stop caring overnight. It's a slow untying of emotional knots. You'll have days when your mind drags you back into memories, when every song feels like a message from the universe. But those are the days that define your strength. Because getting over someone who doesn't want you back isn't about forgetting them. It's about remembering you. The you who existed before the heartbreak. The you who still deserves love, peace, and purpose, even when they couldn't see it. The truth is, they may never realize what they lost. They may move on like nothing happened, and that's okay, because the goal was never to make them regret losing you, The goal is to make you grateful they did. Their absence is not proof of your unworthiness. It's evidence that the wrong person can't handle the right heart. So stop begging for a door that's already closed. That house was never your home. You were just visiting a version of yourself that needed to learn what not to settle for. You are not chasing them anymore. You are reclaiming your peace, one breath, one boundary, one truth at a time. And yes, it'll hurt to detach. Your ego will scream that this can't be how it ends. But listen closely. Pain is just the sound of growth breaking through illusion. It's not the end of love. It's the rebirth of self-respect. So today, stand tall. Stop knocking. Stop hoping they'll open the door. Turn around and walk into the sunlight of your own becoming. The future is waiting for you, and it doesn't look back. Write this in the comments, my friends. I choose peace over pursuit. Let the world see it. Show yourself. Show them. Because this is the moment you stop waiting for someone's return and start preparing for your own rise. And stay with me, because what comes next will teach you how to take that pain and transform it into power that even they won't be able to ignore. Number 2, pain is the proof you felt deeply, not that you failed. The wound is where the light enters you. My friends, pain is not your enemy. It's the messenger that walks in when the illusion leaves. It's the echo of love that once filled your chest, now reminding you that you gave something real. You see, we've been taught that pain means we did something wrong, that if it hurts, it must mean we failed. But that's a lie the world sells to make heartbreak look like weakness. The truth is, the depth of your pain only mirrors the depth of your capacity to love. And that, my friends, is not failure. That's proof that your heart was still open in a world that teaches people to hide behind fear and pride. Imagine pain like fire. When you touch it, it burns, but that same fire also forges steel, hardens clay, and purifies gold. That's what this heartbreak is doing to you right now. It's refining you. It's carving out the parts of you that depended on someone else to feel enough. It's melting away the illusions, leaving behind something stronger, purer, and unbreakable. But in the middle of that fire, you start asking questions that sting. Why wasn't I enough? Why didn't they see my worth? Was everything a lie? You replay the laughter, the plans, the little details that once made you feel seen, and now it's all dust. You start believing that maybe, just maybe, if you'd been a little calmer, a little cooler, a little less loving, they'd still be here. But that's not the truth. That's your mind trying to make sense of rejection. And the mind hates not having answers, so it turns the blame inward. The Stoics would tell you, it's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it that determines your peace. They didn't reject you because you were too much. They walked away because they couldn't match your depth. Sometimes the problem isn't that you loved too deeply, it's that they only knew how to love halfway. You were fluent in emotion, and they only spoke convenience. But here's the thing. Pain confuses the ego. The ego says, if it hurts, I must fix it. And so you chase closure, you chase contact, you chase the past. But every time you do, you reopen the wound that's trying to close. My friends, the ego wants answers, but your soul wants peace. The moment you stop trying to fix the pain and start feeling it, truly feeling it, that's the moment you begin to heal. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is wild, the rain is cold, and visibility is zero. You can't see anything clearly, and all you want is for it to stop. But if you run from the storm, it follows you. If you stand still, it passes through you. That's what pain is, a storm. And your only task is to stand still until it passes. It's not forever, it's just for now. But let me tell you why it feels unbearable sometimes, because this pain isn't just about losing them. It's about losing the version of you that existed when they were around. That version of you was hopeful, safe, understood. Now it's like a part of your identity walked out the door with them. But here's the twist. That version of you is not gone. It's waiting for you on the other side of grief. You'll meet them again, stronger, wiser, and no longer dependent on anyone's validation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." So what does that mean for you? It means the pain is not in what happened. It's in how you've defined it. You've told yourself a story that their absence equals your inadequacy. But what if their departure was the universe's way of forcing you to return home to yourself? Let's break the lie right here. Pain doesn't mean failure. Pain means growth is happening. Think of it like a muscle tear after a hard workout. It hurts because something was stretched beyond its limit. But that's exactly how strength is built. Every tear heals back stronger. Every heartbreak reshapes your emotional boundaries. You don't get weaker from losing love. You get wiser about where to give it next time. I know, my friends, it's hard to believe that right now. Because pain makes you forget who you were before it began. It clouds your memory. It makes you think the world is smaller without them in it. But remember this. The world didn't shrink. You just narrowed your focus on what hurt. Look up again. The same sun still rises. The same sky still stretches beyond the limits of your grief. You just stopped looking at it because all your energy was focused on the wound. But here's the power. Pain doesn't last forever. It evolves. The fire that burns today will be the warmth that guides you tomorrow. The ache that breaks you now will be the voice that helps someone else later. Because pain, when understood, becomes wisdom. So stop calling yourself broken. You're not broken, you're breaking through. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you wanted to text them and didn't, that's discipline. That's you growing emotional muscle. And when you come out of this, and you will, you'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You'll love differently, because you'll know what it means to give without losing yourself. Write this in the comments as your affirmation. My pain is proof of my strength. Show yourself that you're still standing. Show the world that heartbreak didn't destroy you. It revealed you. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll uncover the secret truth about what you actually miss. And it's not them. It's something far deeper, and once you see it clearly, the grip they have on your mind will finally start to fade. Number 3, you don't miss them. You miss the version of you who loved them. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. My friends, I want you to pause and really let that line sink in, because this might be one of the hardest truths you'll ever face after a breakup. You don't actually miss them. You miss who you were when you loved them. You miss the feeling of being needed, the spark in your chest when they said your name, the version of yourself that felt alive, wanted, and seen. What you're mourning isn't just the loss of a person. It's the death of a rhythm. The silence after a song you thought would play forever. Think about it. You don't replay random days. You replay moments. The way they laughed. The way they looked at you that one night when everything felt perfect. The way you felt safe, like the world made sense when they were around. But here's the twist. What you're missing is not them. It's you in those moments. It's the energy you became when love was flowing freely. That version of you felt powerful, open, soft and certain. Now without them, it feels like that version of you has disappeared. But my friends, that version of you was never theirs to take. It was always you. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror that used to reflect light. They were the mirror. When they were around, you saw your best sides reflected back, your humor, your passion, your depth. But now that mirror is gone, and you're left in the dark wondering where your glow went. But the truth is, the mirror never made the light. You did. The glow didn't disappear. You just stopped seeing it because you were too busy staring at the absence of reflection. You see, when someone leaves, our mind starts mixing up what we had with who they were. You remember the laughter, but forget the arguments. You remember the closeness, but not the distance that slowly grew between you. The brain filters memory like a highlight reel, cutting out the pain, amplifying the fantasy. And that's why you feel stuck, not because they were perfect, but because your memory edited out the parts that would have helped you move on. Let's be honest. How many times have you said to yourself, they were the one? But if they were truly the one, wouldn't they still be here? The mind clings to the illusion of what could have been because reality feels too raw. It's easier to hold on to a fantasy than to face the fact that the version of love you wanted only existed in your imagination. You don't miss them. You miss the comfort of the routine, the good morning texts, the late night calls, the small moments that gave your days structure. You miss belonging somewhere. But belonging to someone who's already walked away isn't love. It's emotional imprisonment. And the key to that prison has been in your pocket this whole time. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And right now, your thoughts are convincing you that your worth vanished with their goodbye. That's not the truth. Your worth doesn't evaporate because someone stopped seeing it. You don't lose your value when someone loses interest. You are still the same person who loved with depth, gave without measure, and hoped without fear. That's not weakness. That's strength disguised as heartbreak. My friends, you need to realize something powerful. You're not longing for them. You're longing for the emotional certainty that came with them. You miss waking up knowing you had someone to message, someone to care about, someone to be the reason you smiled. You miss being chosen. But the truth is, the feeling of being chosen doesn't come from someone else picking you. It comes from you choosing yourself again. You want to know why it's so hard to let go? Because part of you is still hoping that if you hold on long enough, you can bring back the version of yourself that felt alive when they were near. But here's the secret. That version of you isn't gone. It's waiting for you at the other end of this pain. You can be that alive again, even more so, once you stop searching for that spark in someone else and realize it was your own fire all along. Imagine a candle lighting another candle. The second one burns brightly for a while, and when it's gone, you're left staring at the smoke thinking the light disappeared. But if you just look down, you'll see your own flame still burning. You've had the light all along, you just forgot where to look. The Stoics would tell you, never tie your peace to something that can leave, because everything external is borrowed. Affection, attention, even presence. The only thing that's truly yours is your character, your discipline, your capacity to love. That's the part that stays. That's the part that doesn't vanish when someone walks away. So stop chasing ghosts. Stop checking their online status. Stop reading old messages, trying to feel that spark again. You don't need to resurrect a memory to feel alive. What you need is to remember that the power to create that feeling has always been within you. You brought the color into the relationship. You brought the energy, the humor, the heart. You were the magic. They were just the stage you performed it on. And I get it. That stage feels empty now. The curtains are closed. The applause has faded. But the next act hasn't even started yet. The audience, your life, is waiting for you to step back into the spotlight. Not as the same person who begged for love, but as the one who realized they were love all along. Write this in the comments as your affirmation. I miss the old me and I'm bringing them back stronger. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you don't chase what's gone, you evolve into what's next. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to talk about silence, the one weapon of peace that speaks louder than words ever could. Number 4. Detach without bitterness. Let silence speak for you. Silence is a source of great strength. My friends, let me start with something that may sting a little. You don't need to make them see what they lost. You don't need to prove how much you cared, how deeply you loved, or how much pain their absence caused. You don't need to send that final message, that perfectly crafted text that you think will finally make them understand, because nothing you say now will change what's already been chosen. Sometimes the loudest message you'll ever send is the one you never say. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, screaming your truth, and the reflection doesn't move. No matter how loud you get, it just stares back blankly. That's what it's like trying to make someone understand your value when they've already tuned out. You're exhausting yourself trying to be heard in a place that's gone silent. But what you don't realize is that silence, your silence, is far more powerful than anything you could ever explain. I know what you might be thinking, but they'll think I don't care. They'll think I've moved on. They'll think they won. And that's exactly why most people fail to detach, because they want to control the narrative. You want them to see your worth, but here's the truth, my friends. If they couldn't see your value when you were close, they won't see it because of a message you send when you're gone. People don't suddenly recognize gold because it shouted louder. They recognize it because they can't find it anymore. Silence is not about punishing them. It's not revenge, it's recovery. It's how you reclaim your energy from someone who no longer deserves your emotional access. Every text you don't send, every story you don't post, every reaction you hold back, that's you healing. That's you reclaiming your emotional control, one quiet act at a time. You see, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for what doesn't feed you. It's the art of staying soft without staying stuck. It's knowing that you can love someone and still let them go without bitterness, without needing them to see your worth, without turning your healing into a performance. Think of it like this. If you throw a stone into still water, it creates ripples. But if you keep throwing stone after stone, the water never gets a chance to become calm again. That's what you do when you keep checking their profile, sending messages, trying to get reactions. You keep disturbing your own peace. But when you stop, when you finally let the water settle, you'll start to see your reflection clearly again. That's when you'll remember who you are, not the person waiting to be chosen, but the person who knows they already are. The Stoics had a saying, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's what silence does. You don't have to tell them you've changed. You don't have to announce your healing. You show it in the calm of your energy, in the peace that can't be provoked, in the absence of your reaction. Silence tells a story words never could. It says, "I've outgrown needing to be understood by you." But I get it, my friends. Detachment feels unnatural at first. It feels like you're disappearing, like they'll forget you if you stop showing up. That's fear talking, the same fear that tells you that silence means weakness. But here's the truth. Silence is not the absence of power. It's the presence of discipline. It's your ego detoxing. It's your emotions going through withdrawal from the chaos they got addicted to. That silence you fear is where healing actually begins. When you stop explaining yourself, stop chasing, stop posting for reaction, the world gets quiet, and in that quiet, something incredible happens. You start hearing yourself again, your thoughts, your needs, your peace. You start remembering what life feels like when it isn't centered around someone else's attention. You stop being a performer in their story and become the author of your own again. Let me tell you something. People always notice silence. They might not show it, but they feel it. Because silence breaks patterns, it makes space for reflection. It exposes what words used to hide. When someone's used to your constant energy, your sudden stillness echoes louder than any confrontation. They'll wonder where your attention went. They'll sense the distance, the calm, the new energy that doesn't orbit around them anymore. That's when the shift happens, not because you forced it, but because you stopped feeding what wasn't growing. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." So if they were careless, you become calm. If they were inconsistent, you become grounded. If they were loud in ego, you become quiet in strength. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's evolution. It's saying, "I've got nothing left to prove here." And yes, at first, the silence will ache. It'll feel like you're erasing yourself. You'll fight the urge to explain, to justify, to reach out. But every time you resist that urge, you're teaching yourself self-control. You're building emotional armor. You're reminding your nervous system that peace is more rewarding than chaos. That's how detachment becomes a superpower, not because you stopped feeling, but because you stopped reacting. So when the urge hits to text, to post, to get noticed, pause, breathe. Remember, you are not being ignored. You are being redirected. Your silence is not them winning. It's you reclaiming your crown. Write this in the comments, my friends. My silence speaks louder than my pain. Let the world see it. Show yourself that you don't need noise to be powerful. Show them that you don't need attention to have value. Show the universe that you've learned to let peace do the talking. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to talk about how rejection isn't your punishment. It's your protection. The universe doesn't take things away to hurt you. It takes them away to prepare you. What's coming next will show you why losing them might just be the best thing that ever happened to you. Number 5, reframe rejection as divine protection. Sometimes rejection is simply the universe saying, "This was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to redirect you." My friends, I know it's hard to see right now. When someone you cared for, fought for, dreamed about suddenly walks away, it feels like the world flipped upside down. You question everything, your worth, your effort, your future. You start wondering, why wasn't I enough? What did I do wrong? How could they move on so easily? But I want you to take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. You didn't lose them. You were spared. At first, that sounds impossible, doesn't it? Because pain doesn't feel like protection. It feels like betrayal. It feels like punishment. It feels like God, the universe, life, whatever you believe in, has abandoned you. But what if it hasn't? What if rejection was never rejection at all, but redirection towards something higher, something safer, something that will finally match your frequency? Imagine this. You're driving late at night on a road you've taken 100 times. Suddenly, a detour sign flashes. You're frustrated. You just want to go home. You turn down a new path, irritated, impatient, convinced that this wasn't part of your plan. Then the next morning, you find out that the road you always took collapsed overnight. You weren't inconvenienced. You were protected. The same goes for heartbreak. The detour was your salvation in disguise. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's what rejection is, an obstacle that becomes your direction. It doesn't push you off your path, it creates a new one. And that new path is one where you no longer beg for love, you embody it. One where you don't settle for being almost chosen, you wait for alignment instead." But here's where people get stuck. They confuse being rejected with being unworthy. The mind tells you that if they left, it must mean something's wrong with you. But rejection says nothing about your value. It only reveals where your energy no longer belongs. It's not that you weren't enough. It's that you were too much truth for someone still hiding behind their own fears. You showed up ready, and they weren't. And that's not your loss. That's your protection. Think of it this way. Sometimes life removes people because they're blocking the view. They're standing where growth was supposed to happen. And because you were so focused on them, you couldn't see the horizon forming behind them. So life does what you couldn't. It moves them out of the way. It hurts, yes. But pain is the universe's way of saying, I know you wouldn't have left on your own, so I had to do it for you. The Stoics would remind you, everything that happens is part of nature's plan. Epictetus taught, don't seek for things to happen the way you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do. That doesn't mean you become passive. It means you trust that even when something feels wrong, it's unfolding in your favor. You may not understand why today, but one day you'll look back and realize that the thing you cried for was the thing that set you free. I know, my friends, that right now it feels unfair. You gave your best. You were loyal, kind, patient, and still they walked away. But remember this, not every loss is meant to be grieved. Some are meant to be celebrated quietly. Because if you saw the storm they were carrying, if you saw the chaos they would have brought into your next chapter, you'd be thanking life for the escape route. Rejection clears the path for divine alignment. It makes space for new energy, new connections, new beginnings. The person who walked away was never the destination. They were the bridge. They were the lessons that prepared you for what's coming. Without them, you wouldn't be searching for more meaning. Without the pain, you wouldn't be evolving. You see, sometimes heartbreak is the doorway to purpose. But let's break the lie. If I was really meant for them, they wouldn't have left. Wrong. People can love you deeply and still not be ready for the kind of love you offer. People can see your value and still choose comfort over growth. That's not a reflection of your failure. It's a reflection of their capacity. You can't make someone ready for a love that requires them to confront themselves. And sometimes the rejection isn't even about you. It's about their fear of who they'd have to become to meet you where you are. So don't curse the closed door, bless it. Because it didn't close to punish you, it closed to protect your peace. You're being redirected towards something that will see you, match you, and grow with you. But before that arrives, you must learn to thank what left, even through tears, because gratitude is what turns pain into power. Think about this. When something leaves your life, it's not the end of your worth, it's the beginning of your wisdom. You start seeing people for who they are, not who you wish they'd be. You stop begging for love and start embodying it. You stop asking for closure and start becoming it. And that, my friends, is how rejection becomes sacred. It's no longer about losing something. It's about gaining clarity. It's no longer about heartbreak. It's about alignment. You stop saying, "Why did this happen to me?" and start saying, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift in mindset changes everything. That's the point where pain transforms into purpose. So take this moment, this wound, this silence, this confusion, and reframe it. Say to yourself, I wasn't rejected, I was redirected, because you were. Life just moved you from what you thought you wanted to what you truly need. Write this in the comments as your affirmation. Rejection is my redirection. Show the world, show yourself. Show life that you understand what's happening now. You're not unlucky, you're being refined. You're not abandoned, you're being aligned. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to talk about what to do with all this energy, how to rebuild yourself from the inside out, and become someone so grounded, so strong, that the next time love finds you, you'll be unshakable. Number 6, rebuild the self they never got to know. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, this is where the transformation truly begins. You've cried, you've replayed the past, you've questioned your worth, and now it's time to rise. But not to show them, not to make them regret it, not to prove anything. It's time to rebuild the version of you that got buried under the noise of that relationship. The self they never truly saw, or perhaps never had the depth to understand. Think about it. In the relationship, you probably twisted yourself into shapes just to be accepted. You silenced parts of your voice to keep the peace. You dimmed your light so they wouldn't feel small beside you. You gave and gave and gave until there was barely anything left for yourself. And now, what's left after they're gone? The ashes of someone who forgot who they were before love turned into survival. But the good news is, ashes aren't an ending. They're the beginning of fire. You rebuild from this. Imagine standing in front of a mirror after a long storm. The reflection is blurry, streaked with rain and pain, but behind it, your eyes still burn with the same spark you've always had. That's what healing looks like. Not perfection, not pretending it didn't hurt, but rediscovering the part of you that never stopped existing beneath the heartbreak. This is the moment where you take all the energy that used to go into them, the checking, the waiting, the hoping, and redirect it into becoming someone unstoppable. You don't heal by sitting still. You heal by building. You heal by picking up your purpose like a sword. Because now that they're gone, you've got energy with nowhere to go. And that energy can destroy you or rebuild you. The choice is yours. The Stoics had a saying, action expresses priority. That means you don't talk about who you want to be, you become it through what you do every day. You can't think your way into confidence, you build it through discipline. You can't wait to feel motivated, you create momentum through movement. Whether it's rebuilding your health, mastering your craft, fixing your sleep, or learning a new skill, every small act of progress whispers to your mind, I'm still here. I still matter. It's not about revenge. It's not about the glow-up they'll see on social media. It's about the inner glow that no one can take from you. Because when you start focusing on yourself again, something miraculous happens. You stop orbiting around their absence. Your energy becomes self-contained, your peace self-generated. And that kind of strength, my friends, is magnetic. The moment you stop chasing attention, the world starts paying attention. But I know what you might be thinking. How do I even start? I feel empty. I feel lost. That's okay. Every masterpiece begins with an empty canvas. Every comeback begins in silence. Start small. Wake up early. Move your body. Clean your space. Write down your thoughts. These are not just tasks. They're rituals of self-respect. When you treat your life like it matters, your heart starts to believe it again. Let's be real. They didn't get to see the full version of you. Maybe you didn't either. You were too busy explaining yourself instead of expanding yourself. But that version of you, the one who's calm, powerful, grounded, that version is being built now, in this pain, in this silence. And the beauty is, you're not doing it to be admired. You're doing it to be free. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So start feeding your mind what it deserves. Stop scrolling through memories like they owe you closure. Instead, feed yourself books, ideas, challenges, conversations that make you grow. Your brain is the battlefield. Win there, and you win everywhere. When you rebuild, something sacred happens. Your standard rises. You stop chasing people who confuse you. You stop settling for half love. You stop begging for the bare minimum. Because once you've rebuilt from the ruins, you see the truth. Not everyone deserves access to the version of you that survived the fire. This is the era where you rebuild quietly. No announcements, no performances, no validation. Just daily proof that you're becoming someone stronger than the storm that tried to break you. The best comeback doesn't start with words, it starts with presence. When people feel your energy shift, when they see your peace, when they realize they no longer affect your mood, that's when they'll understand what they lost. But even then, your heart will be too full to care. Because true healing isn't about being noticed. It's about no longer needing to be. It's about walking through the same places that used to haunt you and feeling nothing but calm. It's about looking in the mirror and recognizing the person staring back, strong, steady, unbothered. You are not who you were before this pain. You are wiser, calmer, sharper. The old you begged for clarity. The new you created it. The old you waited for a text. The new you sent none. The old you needed to be seen. The new you knows your worth doesn't need witnesses. So today, start rebuilding, one step, one boundary, one quiet victory at a time. Don't do it for them. Do it because you refuse to let the story end in heartbreak. Let it end in rebirth. Write this in the comments as your affirmation. I am rebuilding in silence. Say it with conviction. Show the world that the best version of you is under construction. Show yourself that healing doesn't make you smaller, it makes you limitless. And stay with me, my friends, because in the next part, we're going to talk about the hardest test of all, how to sit in the longing without acting on it. Because mastering that moment, when your emotions want to take over but your discipline holds steady, is when you truly become unshakable. Number 7. Learn to sit in the longing without acting on it. If it is endurable, then endure it. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, this is where true strength is forged, not in the moments when you're busy, distracted, or surrounded by people, but in those quiet hours when your heart aches and your mind whispers, just reach out once more. That's the battlefield. That's the test. Because healing isn't just about walking away, it's about learning to sit in the silence without breaking. Let's be honest, you miss them. You think about what they're doing, who they might be with, whether they ever think of you. The temptation hits like waves, sometimes calm, sometimes violent. And your instinct tells you to move, to do something, to call, to text, to scroll, to fill the void with noise. But the Stoics would tell you, don't seek to escape the feeling, master it. Because that longing you feel, that's not a sign that you're weak. It's proof that you're human. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a storm, wind howling, rain pounding, trees bending. Your first instinct is to run for cover. But the Stoic man, he doesn't run. He plants his feet. He looks at the chaos, feels it against his skin, and realizes that storms don't destroy what's rooted deep. That's what this moment of longing is. It's your emotional storm. You can't stop it, but you can outlast it. You can let it pass through without letting it own you. The mind will play tricks on you. It'll whisper lies like, if you reach out, you'll feel better. Or maybe they're waiting for you to message first. But my friends, that's not true. That's your fear of absence disguising itself as hope. Because reaching out might quiet the ache for a moment, but it reignites the cycle that kept you trapped. You're not looking for connection. You're looking for relief. But momentary relief always costs long-term peace. This is where emotional discipline separates the powerful from the desperate. The weak react to every impulse. The strong pause and observe. When that urge to act comes, you sit with it. You breathe through it. You tell yourself, I can feel this without breaking. That sentence alone can save you, because every time you survive an urge without acting on it, you rewire your mind for strength. You become your own anchor. It's not easy, I know. There will be nights when you stare at the phone, when every memory feels louder than your logic, when your body aches like you're missing a part of yourself. But remember, you're not missing them. You're missing the dopamine rush that came with being seen, wanted, chosen. It's biology, not destiny. You're not broken. You're detoxing from attachment. And just like any detox, the withdrawal hurts before it heals. Pain is temporary, but self-respect is permanent. And every time you resist that urge, you're teaching yourself that peace matters more than attention. You're proving to your inner self that you can feel longing without needing to feed it. That's power. Because true mastery isn't avoiding emotion. It's being able to experience it fully without letting it dictate your actions. Think about this. Fire isn't dangerous because it burns. It's dangerous because people don't know how to handle it. Emotion is the same way. It's not meant to be suppressed. It's meant to be contained. You feel it, you witness it, and you let it pass. You don't grab it with both hands and call it love. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's your reminder every time the urge hits. You can't control what they're doing. You can't control whether they miss you, but you can control how you respond to your own emotions. And the moment you stop reacting, you reclaim your power. You might not see it yet, but your silence is rebuilding your foundation. Your calm is creating contrast in a world addicted to noise. You're becoming untouchable, not because you don't feel, but because you've learned to stand steady in what you feel. That's the essence of Stoic detachment, not coldness, not indifference, but emotional maturity. You're not hard, you're centered. So when that ache rises up again, and it will, I want you to do something. Smile. Yes, smile at the discomfort, because it means growth is happening. You're expanding your capacity to hold emotion without collapsing under it. You're becoming emotionally fluent, and that's something most people never learn. And here's the truth. One day soon, that longing won't hurt anymore. You'll feel it flicker for a moment and then fade. You'll wake up one morning, make your coffee, look out the window, and realize that you're okay. You'll realize you didn't need closure or another chance or even an apology. You just needed time, truth, and courage to sit in the storm until it passed. And when it does, you'll see it clearly. The storm was never here to break you. It was here to build you. So, my friends, the next time you feel that ache, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't chase it. Sit with it. Let it teach you patience. Let it teach you stillness, because what you can sit with, you can overcome. Write this in the comments as your affirmation. I can feel this without breaking. Say it proudly. Say it for your future self who's watching you rise through the pain. And before we close this chapter, do this. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who's struggling to let go, because you never know who might need this message today. Remember, my friends, longing doesn't define you. Your response to it does. You are stronger than your impulses. You are calmer than your chaos. You are at peace after the storm. Until next time, stay calm, stay stoic, stay powerful.